What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good, people? What is up? What is They went from the 4th level of hell and sent us down to the 7th level of hell. Why? Because then you got Kwanzaa pulling out her titties. The whore pulled out her titties. And these whore bags over here started feeling and fondling on her tits. What?
I don't have it to do with you. Girl, you can go over there, rant and rave. Girl, you can shake all your rainbow bright hair all you want, dear one. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I'm not doing this with you, dear one. I don't have nothing to do with you, and I'm done. Baby, you can scream my name from the rooftops from now till Jesus come back. I'm done after this.
Introduced to Tick's meat. Do you see what I see? Did y'all really hello, casting, wardrobe, y'all let him roll up out of wardrobe with these fans on, giving us all of this, thinking we were not going to see it? We have been waiting with bated breath and anticipating all season long for the slightest glimpse, and y'all just put it out there this episode in all of its magnificent glory.
Listen, that young man said, baby, you ate on this first date, you giving up the cooch on the first date, okay? Well, you gonna run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. That's how I do this song. That is the new song. Listen, somebody need to put a beat to that. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. Run me my cooch or run me my coins. This what y'all got going on.
Called out Sandcastle. Sand, bitch. Ow. Oh my God, it was so funny, girl. Woo, baby, listen, let me tell you something. This shit started to turn into the precursor for some gay porn. That's what I thought it was. Because Big T is getting all, the voice starting to go deeper and get a little more wet and moist and sentimental and all of this shit. And it was real gay at this point. Like, I thought the bitch was going to stop. I thought Lil Bird was going to turn Big T around and do him like he did Uncle Cliff and do the grease it up with City Lou and ran right in there. It's not a coincidence that Big T started off the conversation by trying to find out if Lil Murder was fucking Mercedes, which he found out he's not. It's also not a coincidence that he would start talking about prison. Why? Because the bitch was probably up in prison. Girl. Uncle Clifford, you better go get your man. Big T got plans for that. What he had on looked like something Big Bird vomited up or something like that. Like, I did not like it. That Big Bird couture he was going for, it did not work. Like the pastor of a gay mega church on Easter Sunday. Okay, it was way too much sequins. He had on way too much makeup. Baby, his face looked like Yala Van Zap's neckline. Okay, just way too much makeup clumped in everywhere on his face. Get it together, sweetheart. And you're a big girl, so that gives you a whole lot of canvas. So that was a whole lot of makeup, honey. And Rico looked like he was auditioning to be one of the three kings, or he was auditioning to be the main character on Jesus Christ Superstar. Girl, Wayne, did you have on a blue thong or a blue G-string or something? If you did, I want to see it. Get me up in my DMs, I do want to see if you have a blue thong or a blue, Josh or something like that. I'd love to see it too. Anyway, but I liked it with the turtleneck.
No.
Now, Troy. Oh, hello. How is everyone? It is Wednesday. We are here, and this is our last day of the week because I got to go out of town in the morning. So we are here, and we're going to do what we do. We got some things to talk about. I'm posting on the socials as we speak to let the people know we are here. Y'all know YouTube ain't gonna do us no favors. Y'all do know that, right? YouTube ain't gonna do us a goddamn favor at all. They don't care about us. Michael Jackson told us a long time ago they don't really care about us. That's what he told us. Let me post this on the members only chat. All right. And then we'll post on Bluesky, and then we'll be good. All right. Go ahead while you're waiting. This is your time to hit the like button. This is your time to share the video out. Do all of the things that we do. I probably should have did this before the intro was over, but I was trying to take care of some stuff. Sorry, y'all. All right, there we go. All right, now we're ready. What's going on, everyone? What's going on, people? What is going on? What's going on? What is going on? We are ready to make today a great day. Let me say hello to y'all. Greet you all properly. See who we got here. Let's see who's first. First up is Tracy W. Hello, Tracy W. Are you okay, ma'am? Is your Wednesday going well? How's your hump day going? Everything good with you over there, Tracy W? You know we're glad to see you. You know we're always so pleased to know that you have graced us with your presence. And nothing gives us greater joy than to greet you as the first pupil in class today. I have to do Tracy like that because Tracy W be getting mad. Hey, The Informed, what's going on? The Informed, is Karen your girl? Huh? Is that your good? Is that your good? Because we sure gonna talk about her. Child. Is that your good? Y'all know how I feel about gray pubes. So y'all know I got some things to say about her. We'll get there. Hey, The Informed. Child. We gonna get there, The Informed. We sure gonna get there. He's a whole ass clown. He's a clown. He's a clown. Hey Candace F, how you doing today, sweetheart? Universal Goddess is in the building. How you doing today, my love? Tamara is here in the building, doing what she do. DPG is here in the bushes listening, but still here nonetheless. Sharice is here joining us from the left coast, the west coast. Cali, resident Cali girl. Antonia has made her way into the building. She has her face in the place. Hey, beautiful. Oh, let me shut down this work laptop. Y'all stop playing with a real G. Let me shut down this work laptop because they really be trying to play with me. Stop playing with a real G, girl. Girl, stop playing with a real G. Let me shut this work laptop down. Gee. Gee. All right. We have Montrez, what's good, bruh? You all right over there? Is you okay? You all right? Hey, Yana. Green Girl is here. All right, y'all. We we got we have small numbers today. So that means that we can have a lot more fun. Y'all know when it's just a small number of us and we ain't got a whole lot of prying eyes, we can get on here and just clown like we want to. I think that's what we'll do today. Seeing this is our last day of the week. We just gonna do some clowning today. All right. Y'all ready for y'all Black History moment? Go ahead and put a shondo in the chat if y'all ready to get this party started. Our Black History moment is upon us. And we need to go ahead and disperse with it. All right. So it's time for our Black History moment. We have 2 Black History moments today. I know you did Candace F, and we're going to talk about those today as well. She's another ass clown. Just a clown. So our first Black History oh God, I gotta get the dossier up, don't I? I'm about to try to do all of this talking. I ain't got not one portion of the dossier open, not one part. No, not one. No, not one. Lord. All right, let's open up this dossier. All right. So our first Black History moment, we will learn about the Contraband Relief Association. Now, when I learned about this particular organization, and learned the story behind it, I was so appalled. So appalled. So very appalled at this story. And so I wanted to bring it to you so that you could learn um all about the Contraband Relief Association. Hey Jay Parrish. Cha. All right. So the Contraband Relief Association um goes as follows. At the beginning of the Civil War, there were approximately 2 million enslaved women. An estimated 500,000 of these women fled from slavery as soon as white men left their plantations and homes to join the Confederate Army. Those fleeing from slavery escaped to Union occupied areas or to Union encampments, where they were referred to as contraband. As a result, many large Union encampments had higher populations of African American women than white women. Following complaints from white Union soldiers about the presence of slavery refugees in Union encampments, the federal government quickly crowded African American men, women, and children into what were known as contraband camps. These camps were overcrowded, overrun with disease, and provided the refugees with little to no sanitation or clothing. In response to the dire need of the people surviving in contraband camps, Elizabeth Keckley, a dressmaker to the First Lady, Mary Todd Lincoln, and a former enslaved person, founded the Contraband Relief Association, or CRA, along with 40 African American women from her church, Union Bethel Church in Washington, D.C. The purpose of the CRA was to provide relief, resources, and guidance to slavery refugees. Mary Todd Lincoln was a major supporter of the CRA and contributed the first $200 to the organization. Through the Contraband Relief Association, of which Elizabeth Keckley, became president in 1862, shoes, clothing, and other essentials were collected for formerly enslaved people. The CRA raised money in black churches, and more than 80 large boxes of essential items were contributed exclusively by African American people in Boston. While there had been other African American relief societies formed to aid freed people and refugees of slavery, no other organization provided assistance on the scale of the CRA. At Elizabeth Keckley's behest, a part of her work for the as part of her work for the CRA, Sarah Martin established the Fugitive Aid Society of Boston, and Octavia Grimes established the Colored Ladies Relief Association. These two organizations had ties to Black Boston churches and functioned as auxiliaries of the CRA. The Contraband Relief Association quickly became a far-reaching and powerful organization which received donations from Northern abolitionists, President Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, and anti-slavery societies in England and Scotland. Henry Highland Garnet, Frederick Douglass, and Wendell Phillips of the American Anti-Slavery Society were among many abolitionist speakers who were recruited to raise funds for the CRA. In 1863, large numbers of the contraband men began enlisting in Black Union battalions. Though white women had aided white soldiers through their aid societies, there were no such assistance for African American soldiers. As a result, the CRA began providing aid in outfitting the contraband soldiers. With its purpose and focus expanded to provide support to African American soldiers, the CRA changed its name to the Ladies, Freedmen, and Soldiers Relief Association. And that's the story of the Contraband Relief Association. I was unaware, and you know what? I never thought about it, y'all. I was unaware of these contraband camps. And when you think about it, I can imagine that a lot of slaves, like they said, when the slave owners and white men left to go join the Confederate Army, those and forced the black men to be in Confederate armies, those women that were left, black women, said, hey, chucked up the deuces and got out of Dodge and went over to the Union side to, gain some freedom. Unfortunately, the United States you know, in only in the fashion only the United States can, even messed that up and had these contraband camps. Child, just a mess. Hey, Complex 613. Complex 613, I still don't know if you made it into the members only chat. Hey, Precious Jewel, what's going on? Hey, Tarshell. Hey, Crazy Homebody Girl. Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul. You got to run to the store real fast. Nah, and buy. You know what? That's what his name is. The store. That's his name. The store. That's his name. Okay. Well, that's your nickname for him. Hey, Demetria. Mm. Let's get to our second Black History moment. Our second Black History moment talks about an organization called called the Knights of Labor. The Knights, Knights of Labor. Founded in Philadelphia in 1869, the Knights of Labor was the largest, most important labor union in the 19th century United States. Unlike most unions and predominantly white institutions then, the Knights of Labor opened its membership to African Americans and women workers. Prior to the KOL, nearly all unions consisted of workers in a specific trade or craft, but craft unions' emphasis on exclusive membership left them with little power vis-a-vis employers. Also, craft unions generally refused to organize women and people of color. By contrast, a core of the Knights' philosophy was solidarity, that unions must organize all workers regardless of craft, skill, sex, race, or nationality, as evidenced by its motto, quote, an injury to one is the concern of all, end of quote. The radical ideology of the KOL admittedly imperfect in practice, also can be seen in its advocacy of corporate ownership of industry in America. Of cooperative ownership of industry in America. At first, the union was white and male only, but the KOL eventually opened itself to black and women workers. In addition to its ideology, the Knights of Labor organizers fully understood that if black or female workers were excluded, they could be used by employers to undermine unionism. Perhaps as many as 75,000, or about 10% of its peak membership in 1886, were African American, along with a comparable number of women. From Richmond to Raleigh, Galveston to Little Rock, and Kansas City to New York City, black workers of many trades and places joined the Knights. Since most African Americans lived in the South, most black KOL members were there. Black workers in the cotton, sugar, timber, and tobacco industries, particularly processing, shipping, and warehousing, belonged to the Knights of Labor. The KOL was not always inclusive. Some assemblies, especially in the South, excluded or segregated black workers. Similarly, Chinese workers were categorically excluded. The KOL organized in Louisiana's large sugar industry, where black workers toiled in slave-like conditions. That in 1887, about 10,000 black workers, some of whom belonged to the Knights, went on strike for 3 weeks, the largest strike in this industry to date, until 60 workers were murdered by white paramilitary organizations in the notorious Thibodeau massacre. No union organized farm workers for many decades after the Thibodeau massacre. The high water mark of the Knights of Labor commitment to racial equality occurred in 1886 as its national convention in Richmond, Virginia, the former capital of the Confederacy and home to thousands of Black Knights of Labor. Frank J. Farrell, a militant Black delegate in New York City's District Assembly 49, was denied admission to a hotel. Rather than accept such discrimination, all delegates from the convention stayed at the Black-owned Harris Hotel. Frank Farrell later addressed the entire convention where he castigated racism in all its forms. The KOL group from the NYC from New York City also ruffled local racists and received national attention by attending a performance of Hamlet as an integrated body. In 1886, due to the Haymarket affair in Chicago, where a bomb killed 16 people, membership plummeted, although the KOL had little to do with that event. The KOL lingered on for decades until 1949 and spread to Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. It was not until the Industrial Workers of the World, founded in 1905, opened their doors that another union treated African Americans equally. And that is the story of the Knights of Labor. Shout out to them. Those are our two Black History moments for the day. Hope you learned something. Hey, Tanya, what's going on, boo? All right, I think it's that time. Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary gender conforming members of our audience, I bring to you the great Larry Myers to help us usher in our Sugar Spike segment.
Oh, God. You see, this is the part that I like.
Major sugar spike.
So loved the world. I want to fight. That he gave. His only begotten son.
Major sugar spike.
And shall ever believe.
Major sugar spike.
They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus! How would somebody help me?
Jesus. Thank you, Larry. So we start off our Sugar Spike segment today with what could probably be Volodymyr Zelensky and Ukraine bending the knee or capitulating to the president of these yet to be United States, Donald John. Let me read this real fast. President Donald Trump said Wednesday that Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky will visit the White House on Friday to sign a long-sought minerals deal that will closely tie the two countries together for years to come. Trump made the announcement at the start of the first cabinet meeting of his second term, hailing the deal as, quote, a very big agreement, end of quote. The Republican president has long complained that the United States has spent too much taxpayer money to support Ukraine in the war with Russia that began when the Kremlin invaded 3 years ago. Trump has framed the emerging deal that would give the U.S. access to Ukraine's deposits of so-called rare earth minerals used in the aerospace, defense, and nuclear industries as a chance for Kyiv to pay back the United States for aid already sent for the war effort under Democratic President Joe Biden. Quote, the previous administration put us in a very bad position, but we've been able to make a deal where we're going to get the money back and a lot of money in the future, end of quote. And that's what your president said. Zelensky said in a news conference early Wednesday in Kyiv that a framework of an economic deal had been reached, but that it did not yet include U.S. security guarantees, which his country sees as vital. The full agreement could hinge on the upcoming talks in Washington on Friday. The framework is a preliminary step toward a comprehensive package that will be subject to ratification by the Ukrainian parliament. Ukraine needs to know first where the U.S. stands on its continued military support, Zelensky said. He said he expected wide-ranging conversations with President Trump. And it goes on and on from that. Y'all see what's happening, right? So Volodymyr Zelensky, hey Cymera. Now please be clear. Hey Monk Chip. Hey Xavier. Now let's be clear. Volodymyr Zelensky is on record saying in recent days that um he would resign from the presidency of Ukraine if it meant that it would guarantee Ukraine peace. Volodymyr Zelensky understands now that this country doesn't give a damn about peace anywhere. So him, hey Harold, hey Harold, Harold, hey. Volodymyr Zelensky really is in between a rock and a hard place. And I say that because while European leaders are uh, 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 upset with the United States and everything that the United States is going has been saying via President Trump, the European leaders aren't stepping up as quickly as they should, and have not, frankly, done as a good a job of being as vocal as they can in terms of what they are doing with Ukraine. Now, let's be clear. The European countries are doing quite a bit and are spending billions and billions and billions of dollars. And if you total Ukraine contributions, not Ukraine, European contributions, they have given more than the United States has, but that's still multiple countries that have been giving as a part of the European Union. Now, Volodymyr Zelensky, as well as the European leaders, know that if the United States pulls out and sides with Russia, that will be a cataclysmic blow to Ukraine and the warfare over in Ukraine. Now, please be clear, don't mix my words. I think the fact that there's this quid pro quo that Donald John is trying to do with Ukraine by forcing them to give up these precious jewels, or precious minerals, I should say, in exchange for any monies or armament being sent over there. All the while, y'all are giving unfettered, unabridged, unabashed support in terms of money and weaponry over to Israel, looking for nothing in return. Israel doesn't give us a damn thing. There isn't a single thing that we get from Israel. Nothing. Nothing at all. But they get unfettered, unquestioned, unabridged money, armament, and support from us. Nobody bats an eye, nobody questions it. Even when this country is categorically committing war crimes and breaking international law, we still give money over there to Israel. But now, when it comes to Ukraine, you have to put provisos about the money. I'm just trying to show y'all what's going on here. But like I said, unfortunately, Volodymyr Zelensky is in a tough place. Um, he's in a very tough place. Unless the countries within the European Union step up and say, listen, don't even worry about it, Ukraine. We got you. We gonna step up. If the United States don't want to give nothing, great, beautiful. We have to do our part, because the European Union knows what Vladimir Putin wants to do. He wants to have go back to when there was the USSR. He wants Russia to have all of those countries under Soviet control yet again. Now, whatever Volodymyr Zelensky, says or agrees to, he still has to take it back to the Ukrainian parliament and have the Ukrainian parliament agree to it. We'll see how this goes. I'll keep y'all abreast of the situation. In more news, hey Uncle Jay, hey Too Feisty, hey Tacos and Tequila. So here's the video.
People like the grifter-in-chief Trump and President Musk are openly using their public offices to enrich themselves to the tune of billions of dollars. So if we want to look at waste, fraud, and abuse, which I'm down to do, why is there complete silence on the other side of the aisle about looking at the complete grifter that is the President of the United States and the richest man on the earth, which is looking into things like Social Security and different things like that? Why don't we investigate the real corruption?
Hold off. Point of order.
I reclaim my time.
Point of order.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Hold off. There was a point of order when you said something. Who asked for it? Mr. Higgins, would you like to revise your remark with respect to improperly identifying the President of the United States?
I'll say President Musk and grifter-in-chief Trump.
All right.
Grifter-in-chief
Hey,
Trump.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Wait a second.
If I wanted to challenge someone to a fight, they would know it. Thank you.
Chairman, if Mr. Musk actually
him to-
came here,
what?
then maybe the rules
All right.
committee
I heard
would
no
apply to
disparagement
him.
of the
But-
I'll say something else.
We'll save a lot of time.
I'll say something else.
Okay, all right. We're going to let Chair recognize Mr. Frost. You still have 349. You're going to maybe revise the disparaging comment about the president because that's supposed to be our decorum here. And
It is supposed to be. President Musk and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who is engaged in grifting of the American people, often use their public offices to enrich themselves. Someone on the other side was just asking, how would you
Point of
feel
order,
if you
Mr.
called
Chairman.
someone else from the
hold
other?
off, Mr. Frost. Hold off. There's a pending motion for disparaging the president.
I will say the president's grifting because you spent the last 2 years
All right.
saying President
Take
Biden
down
was corrupt.
his words.
I can say that Trump is
motion-
grifting. What I will withdraw
member-
is calling him
So what-
grifter-in-chief. That is what I
The
will
chair
withdraw.
sustains the point of order, and the words in question are ordered stricken from the transcript of this proceeding. So the member is barred from further participation.
Ms. Crockett.
Insulting people's appearance as well as trying to fight them isn't a problem.
Point of order. It's a yes or no.
But we're so
Yes,
sad
No.
Yes or
Order.
no?
Order.
Yes or
Order.
no?
that our
Order.
Yes
our
or no?
little
Order.
leader,
Just skip her.
We're so
Skip
sad.
her.
Order.
Skip her. You're
My
skip
vote.
her. Go to the
Order.
next one. Go to the next
The
one.
MSNBC anchor.
Go to the next one. Don't count that. Go to the next one.
Ms. Randall votes no. Mr. Subramaniam. Mr. Subramaniam votes no.
I want to say it's despicable that this committee is going to silence me for bringing
The
up
gentleman's
Trump's
words have been
Mr.
taken
Frost,
down. He is not
Mr.
permitted to
Frost.
speak for the rest of the hearing.
making millions of dollars.
Mr. Frost, Mr. Ranking Member, I'm going to have the Sergeant at Arms remove him if he doesn't refrain.
Sorry, I was on mute. This is the fuck shit y'all got going on the floor of Congress. I'm sorry, in committee. In Congress. Hey, Liz, go. Hey, everybody coming in. Ronald and everybody coming in. Hey, T Lounge. Miss Kiki, everybody coming in. This is the fuck shit. So now you are attempting to silence the other side. They're attempting to silence people that don't agree with them. They're attempting to silence the Democrats. We have to protect people like Maxwell Frost and Ayanna Pressley and Jasmine Crockett and Summer Lee and AOC and all of these people that are not afraid to speak truth to power. And what we have here now, they're censoring them. Now they're striking their words from the record. So when the record is written, there's no instance of them speaking truth to power. Now you'll start to see them put out motions and resolutions of censure, asking ranking members to remove certain people from those committees and things like that. This is where we're going. We are completely careening down the slippery slope into authoritarian dictatorship. We are here, people. That looked like a complete circus. We have not, the people in this country and even members of Congress have for a long time tried to vilify and castigate other governments or other countries and how they go about governing. And what the fuck I just saw and what we have going on in the Capitol building is worse than some of the worst things I've seen in other countries. What next? I fully expect that at some point in the very near future, it's going to be a whole fight. They are going to come to blows down there to the Capitol building. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what's about to happen. We are at this point now where you have to understand that this is Yeehaw Junction, okay? The Republicans over there, these are the people that are card-carrying life members of the basket of deplorables, okay? I'm just telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I know. You got bitches like Marjorie Taylor Greene who put up a fucking dick pic on the fucking at a fucking committee meeting. Shall we forget? Fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene held up a big placard of Hunter Biden's penis for all the world to see while she was in committee. And she's the one leading the charge about someone who should be silenced? Really? Republicans, y'all are the ones who are talking about what they should and should not say about someone. You people are laughable. This shit is turned into Yeehaw Junction. This shit is out of order. And at this point, we on our own. It ain't no more you on your own. I don't know that at this point we can expect Congress to do anything. We should not, especially not the House of Representatives. We should not expect a single thing out of the House of Representatives except for them thrusting us further into an authoritarian state. That's it. That's all. I wish nothing but the worst. Let me tell you what. Here's what's going to happen. All of America that voted poorly and voted for these people, and I ain't just saying voted for Donald John Trump. They voted for a lot of these people in Congress that are just sitting back and sanctioning all of this shit. Because it's so many times we talk about only the people who voted for Donald John Trump. We have to also think that people voted to put these people in positions of power in Congress. So I wish nothing but the worst. I hope all of your rights are stripped from you. I hope all of your health care is stripped from you. All of you bitches that went over there and voted for these people, because that's what you want. At this point, you want us to go into the abyss. You want this shit to burn. I'm going to be okay? My job is good. We good over here. My health insurance, we good over here. I got a little bit saved up in the bank account, and I have in each of the four corners of my house a nice FN57 gun in case you all want to come up in here. So we okay over here. And my people gonna be okay, because I'm gonna be over here looking out for my people. Us black people, we know how to survive. You raggedy ass people that went over there and voted for these people, I wish nothing but the worst for you. I wish nothing but the worst for you. I wish nothing but the worst for you. Because here we are. And as if it couldn't get any worse, here we are with more fuck shit from Congress. Here's the video.
You can protest all you want outside of departments of this government. You can protest all you want, but the American people disagree with you. You're protecting the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is not a business. Those are not real jobs producing federal revenue. By the way, they're consuming taxpayer dollars. Those jobs are paid for by the American tax people who work real jobs, earn real income, pay federal taxes, and then pay these federal employees. Federal employees do not deserve their jobs. Federal employees do not deserve their paychecks.
I don't know what y'all want me to do with that. Because the federal employees that she was describing also describes her. So maybe you should be fired at will. Bitch, you ain't shit. Hey, Ravine. This is what we have going on in Congress. I mean, lest we forget, Miss Green, you do realize there are federal workers that live in the great state of Georgia. You also realize, too, Mrs. Green, that there are federal employees that live in your district. You do realize, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that all federal employees don't live in Washington, D.C. They live all over the country, in every state. They live in your district. These are people who voted for you, who you're ceremoniously saying, fuck you, fuck your life. I don't give a shit if you have employment at all. You don't deserve employment. You don't deserve a paycheck. This is the bullshit that I'm talking about. Exactly, Green Girl, because she's saying this as if federal employees don't pay taxes. And let's be clear. You want to talk about government waste? Government, the biggest culprits of government waste by government employees are the ones sitting in the fucking Capitol building, on the floor of the House and the floor of the Senate, because these rat ass bastards ain't been able to do a fuck thing for the American people. That is the place that has the ultimate waste. So if we want to start purging government employees that don't do a damn thing, if we really want to save money, think of the millions of dollars that we would save if we fired all of these members of Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene by herself makes more than $170 million. I mean, $170,000 a year. She makes $170,000+ of taxpayer money every year to go on the floor of Congress and to go into committee meetings and castigate the same people who put her in office. The same people whose taxes pay her fucking salary to sit there and demean them and do no work at all and get nothing the fuck done. I mean, if we really want to talk about government waste, start in the halls of Congress. That's where you start. That's where the fuck you start. This is what we got going on, y'all. These people are deplorable. In more news of us careening down the slippery slope into authoritarian government, I keep highlighting these things that involve the press because I keep wanting y'all to understand these are the steps to authoritarian government. So now you had the Trump administration ban the Associated Press from the Oval Office, from Air Force One and from press gaggles within within Washington D.C. You then yesterday had fuck whore extraordinaire Caroline Leavitt announced yesterday that the White House would now take over deciding who gets into the press briefing room, taking that away from the White House Correspondents Association. Now, last night, the White House informed the Huff Post that there was, quote, no room for one of their end of quote for one of their journalists in the press pool, despite his scheduled participation in the press pool. Instead, Axios filled the print pool spot, and the administration reduced wire service representation from 3 to 1, replacing traditional outlets with right-wing publications Newsmax and The Blaze. Now HuffPost editor-in-chief came right out and said, quote, HuffPost condemns this egregious violation of the First Amendment. Americans deserve fair and honest reporting on their president, end of quote. The move follows Trump's decision to bar the Associated Press after the outlet refused to comply with renaming the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America. Reuters was also removed from Wednesday's press pool. The White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt defended the decision, stating, quote, it's beyond time that the White House press operations reflect the media habits of the American people in 2025, not 1925, end of quote. The White House Correspondents Association, which traditionally determines press rotation, condemned the administration's interference. Quote, this move tears at the independence of a free press. In a free country, leaders must not be able to choose their own press corps, end of quote. And that came from the White House Correspondents Association president, Eugene Daniels. Trump, who has expanded executive powers during his second term, is set to hold, and it talks about the cabinet meeting. So now we have the Huffington Post that has been told, we don't need your services here. Nope, goodbye. And Reuters has also been told, thank you for coming. We won't need your services here. You can go on back. Now, Huffington Post, we know, is left-leaning, and that's okay. But Reuters and the AP try not to lean a certain direction. Reuters and the AP try to stick down the middle, report the facts, report on what's going on. And even they, by being sources of truth and being people that speak facts as opposed to trying to reflect certain biases or lean to one side or the other, they're even being told, yeah, we just don't need you here. So now what we're going to is state-funded and government-funded news, which will all be propaganda, which is what authoritarian governments have. They have state-funded only news where now it's all propaganda. None of it speaks to democracy or freedom at all. Sneaks in with crab bull bags for the class. Wait a minute. How you got crab bull bags for the class and ain't got none for me, as much as I like me some crabs? Hey, Miss Shorty Bean. Child. Hey, Angela. Child, this is a problem. People are not going to see this as a problem, but the reason people don't see this as a problem is because there's been a concerted effort going back to the first Trump administration to call people to question news outlets, to question the press. Now, there are some questionable journalistic outlets and so forth. However, places like the Associated Press and Reuters aren't those two places. The Huffington Post and their voice is needed, because what's going to happen is we're going to end up having only state sanctioned or state run journalism and news outlets. Tracy, see, See how they be rolling up to my class late, y'all? Y'all see how they rolling up in my class just late like this, right? Y'all see this, right? In more news, we got some scary news. The next several stories are quite alarming. The next several stories I found hidden at the very bottom of a lot of websites and blogs, and did not get the real estate and did not get the space and energy that they should get, which scares me, because these are stories that deserve a lot of bandwidth, because these are things that are happening that can directly affect people. Here's the headline, and this is coming from the AP. Shout out to the AP. Here's the headline. Supreme Court seems likely to rule for Ohio woman claiming job bias because she's straight. The Supreme Court seemed likely Wednesday to side with an Ohio woman who claims she suffered sex discrimination from her employer because she is straight. The outcome of the case could remove an additional requirement that some courts apply when members of a majority group, including those who are white and heterosexual, sue for discrimination under federal law. Justice Brett Kavanaugh stated a way of resolving the case that seemed to enjoy broad support among his colleagues. Quote, discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, whether you are gay or straight, is prohibited. The rules are the same whichever way it goes, end of quote, said Justice Kavanaugh. The justices heard arguments in an appeal for Marlene Ames, who has worked for the Ohio Department of Youth Services for more than 20 years. Ames contends she was passed over for a promotion and then demoted because she is heterosexual. Both the job she sought and the one she had held were given to LGBTQ people. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 bars sex discrimination in the workplace. A trial court in the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled against Ames. The question of the justices is that the Cincinnati-based 6th Circuit and several other appeals court covering 20 states and the District of Columbia apply a higher standard when members of a majority group make discrimination claims. People alleging workplace bias have to show background circumstances, including that LGBTQ people made the decisions affecting Ames, or statistical evidence showing a pattern of discrimination against members of the majority party. The appeals court noted that Ames didn't provide any such circumstances. Ohio Solicitor General T. Elliott Geiser told the justices that the officials who made the job decision did not even know Ames's sexual orientation. But even Geiser didn't object too much to the narrow outcome that seemed most likely. Quote, everyone here agrees that everyone should be treated equally, end of quote, said Geiser. His concession prompted Justice Neil Gorsuch to note, quote, we're in radical agreement on that today, end of quote. America First Legal and other conservative groups filed briefs arguing that members of majority groups are as likely to face discrimination, if not more so, because of diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Lawyers for American First, founded by Trump aide Stephen Miller, wrote that the idea that discrimination against members of majority groups is rare is, quote, highly suspect in this age of hiring based on diversity, equity, and inclusion, end of quote. But there was no mention of DEI by the justices today in the Supreme Court hearing. Here's what the problem is in this case, because I went and did some homework on it. The lady got passed up by people who happen to be LGBTQ. The managers and the people that gave out the promotions had no idea the sexual orientation of Miss Ames or of the people who received the promotions over her. Her contention is that both of the positions that she applied for went to people who happened to be LGBTQ, and this must be discrimination against her for being straight, when the people who gave the promotions did not know the sexual orientation of her or the people who got the promotions. Mind you, she was also demoted, and when you look into the case, she had poor performance evaluations that led to her being demoted. Now, what this does is, because now this is at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has chosen to hear this. Once the Supreme Court rules on this, it blows everything out of the water. Now, in addition to you having a president and a federal government that want no parts of diversity, equity, and inclusion and want to promote white supremacy, now it's open season for any time. It will then become open season for any time a white person or a straight person is passed up on a promotion or on a job, and a person of color is given that position, or a member of the LGBTQ plus community is given that position. Now they can say that they've been discriminated against because they are white and or heterosexual. That is where we're going. And when you go now, Tracy C, come up out the bushes. I need you to come up out the bushes and answer this for me in the chat. Tracy C, who works in HR, can tell you, once businesses and corporations know that this is coming down the pipeline, you know what's about to happen. When they get applications in front of them and you have a white person or a straight person versus a person of color or a person that's LGBTQ plus, they're going to go with the white straight person for fear of legal ramifications for what they deem as reverse discrimination. It is going to be a fucking shit show, and they know that now the backing of the Supreme Court is there. That's what we have going on. That's what we're about to have going on. So in addition to doing away with DEI, now we have a Supreme Court that's backing and saying, yep, if you choose somebody that's of color, if you choose somebody that's LGBTQ plus, it must be reverse discrimination, and we deem that unlawful. Here's the deal. They didn't know. They did not know, Candace. The managers and directors and people who gave the promotion had no idea any of their orientation. All of this came out later. Mm-hmm. This is just a mess. Well, it's been announced the first death via the measles in that measles outbreak over in Texas, where there's more than 124 cases across 9 counties now in Texas. Yes, I told y'all this was going to start to spread. We have 124 cases across 9 counties in Texas. There's also 9 additional cases in New Mexico now. And so now a person has been has died from measles. And they asked Robert F. Kennedy Jr. about it during today's cabinet meeting, and he announced that there were 2 people that had died. But y'all don't want no parts of vaccines. I'd love to know the demographics of these people who have these measles, and most of which we know are unvaccinated. I'd love to know the demographics of these people because your government seems not to give a damn about them. Now they're saying that the outbreak is primarily affecting the Mennonite community, which is a group of Christians. Now, the Mennonite community is a group of Christians who practice Anabaptist faith, and they are known. They say that they're known for their commitments to peace and nonviolence. They often travel between small towns for work, church, and other things, increasing their chance of exposure. But a lot of people travel between small towns for work, church, and all other things. So, but they're saying right now it's mainly the Mennonite community. However, um, I can see this is already spreading within at 2 other states. It's in 9 counties now. I don't know. The Mennonite community also tend not to want to vaccinate, as they are. Many people consider them to be evangelicals in their ideology. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Moving on. No, I'm glad Cams is in the building because Cams can shed some light on this. And let me know if you need me to drop the link for you to shed some light on this, Cams, because you may be able to offer just a bit more insight on this, even than I can. So I saw this story, and I probably should have saved it for red, blue, and black, but here we are. We're here. I saw this story and wanted to bring it to your attention because here's something else that is happening damn near under the cloak of darkness, and you don't hear mainstream media or legacy news outlets talking a lot about it. And this is this right here could have grave complications across across the board and across the spectrum. Here's the headline: reported cuts to NIST imperil superconductor reshoring plans in the U.S. The CHIPS Act program operates under the federal agency, and personnel cuts could signal the end of efforts to bring semiconductor manufacturing back to the U.S. Proposed cuts at a key U.S. agency will likely mean the demise of the CHIPS Act funding, which could effectively end the program and undermine efforts to reshore semiconductor manufacturing and research to the U.S. Axios and Bloomberg on Tuesday reported that the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, plans to cut 497 jobs this week. NIST, a non-regulatory agency within the U.S. Department of Commerce, helps drive innovation and industrial competitiveness and oversees the CHIPS for America program. Robert Mayer, president of Consulting for Semiconductor Advisors, wrote in a blog post that the plan to cut NIST staff isn't quote bluff or negotiation tactic, end of quote. Instead, the layoffs signal a complete shift in direction under U.S. President Trump. Quote, Trump made it clear over the last few days that he will institute 25% tariffs on imported semiconductor devices. So it's obvious that the strategy is shifting from incentivizing U.S. chip production to penalizing imports instead. This also lowers the likelihood of TSMC taking over Intel manufacturing, as giving top U.S. chip production to Taiwan contradicts the new strategy. End of quote. Now, we've talked about the fact that Taiwan makes more than 90% of the chips and semiconductor chips that globally. And when China eventually takes over Taiwan, they're going to be the biggest benefactor in all of this. And so the CHIPS Act was the federal government's way to try to shore up its production and manufacturing of these semiconductor chips and these chips that we need for every electronic and technological device that we have in these yet to be United States of America. And now they're doing away with that. Let me continue. The Trump administration, according to Mr. Mayer, has fully considered the impact of the cuts since 100% of AI chips, most Intel chips, all AMD chips, TSMC customers' chips, and more than 80% of memory chips are imported, with the majority of them outside the US. Quote, obviously, chip manufacturing companies will slow spending on programs they previously thought they were getting CHIPS Act funding for, if not cancel those projects outright. If I were running a chip company, I would not count on CHIPS Act funding, even if I had a signed contract, as it's clearly not worth the paper it's written on if NIST is eviscerated, end of quote. Industry analysts have agreed in the past that if tariffs on imports will act as a penalty on the industry, have agreed that in the past that tariffs on imports will act as a penalty on the industry, while the CHIPS Act hallmark legislation passed 3 years ago under then President Joseph Biden acts as an incentive. Now, just some information about the CHIPS Act. The CHIPS Act was passed overwhelmingly in 2022 by both houses of Congress to address computer chip supply chain shortages that surfaced during the COVID-19 pandemic. The legislation provided the Commerce Department with $52.7 billion for a suite of programs to revitalize the U.S. position in semiconductor research, development, and manufacturing. To date, the Department of Commerce has collected but not dispensed about $32 billion in funding among chip makers, including Intel, Samsung, Micron, TSMC, and Texas Instruments, all of whom have unveiled plans for a number of new U.S. chip fabrication plants. In return, those chip designers and makers have pledged about $300 billion in current and future projects in the U.S., according to the plan. And not all of that's going out of the water. Oh, I'm supposed to drop. I wasn't looking. Sorry. I wasn't looking, Cam. Sorry. This is for Cams. Sorry. Sorry, y'all. I was on another screen. I couldn't see the screen. But I did want to give Cams a chance to come up here to add to the commentary, because I know this is his area and he probably has way more insight than I do. That link is for Cams. But here we are cutting more jobs and now killing a plan that was put in place to help us try to claw our way back into the chip manufacturing industry so that we aren't grossly dependent on countries and companies outside of the US. If you're America first, this makes no sense at all. And to add insult to injury, you eviscerate the NIST, which then would basically kill the CHIPS Act. And to add insult to injury, you then place tariffs on top of the chips that you're importing, essentially guaranteeing that all of the electronics that we own will now cost more money. Here we are. Where the hell is Cam? Now he told me to drop the link, and I done dropped the link, and he ain't even here. God. Now where is he at? Now he done told me to drop the link, and he ain't even here. Lord, let me drop it one more time for him. Know what he got going on. He say he backstage. I don't see him. I do not see him. Cam say he backstage. I don't see him. Hold on, y'all. Hold on for a moment. You and see you now. Okay. Let me remove this one from. Okay.
Look,
There's Cam.
I'm here. What's up?
So you want to talk to the people about this NIST?
So first of all, I don't think people realize what NIST does. NIST is under the Department of Commerce, but a lot of our cybersecurity frameworks come from NIST. NIST has a risk management framework. They have a cybersecurity framework. A lot of the industry best practices that we get for passwords, etc., that comes from NIST. They specifically just do research. This is what their thing is. This is what their zhuzh is. So it's upsetting that we're losing long-term strategy because we just had an incident in 2020 where the supply chain was completely disrupted. We do not have enough manufacturing capacity within the United States. So when we talk about all of these military applications, all of these munitions, these, advanced missiles, et cetera, that we use, they require cutting edge technology. Again, anything less than 3 nanometer, TSMC produces 90% of that volume for the entire world. We don't think that that's an issue with China and their belligerence to Taiwan. This is a major issue. Not to mention that since Trump has taken over, Russia's doing whatever they want on the waters, as is China. Because we have a weak ass leader that likes authoritarians. He wishes to be them because he's a weak person. But this CHIP Act is going to end up shooting us in the foot. Because we have two of the major, fabless semiconductor companies. Well, Intel has fabs, but whatever. AMD and Intel, they're both American companies. They're both killing it right now, making these AI devices. We can't make them here. We have to make them in Taiwan. And trust and believe, we're using AI for military purposes. So it would behoove us to diversify our supply chain. It's business 101. He says he wants to run the country like a business. Then you have to do things that make sense. Like the defense budget is well over $2 trillion. If you want to add all of the contingency funds, all the hidden money that they have, all the creative accounting that they've done, it is over $2 trillion. This CHIPS Act is a drop in the bucket when we look at the strategic lift that we get from bringing more manufacturing here. We don't want to be too reliant on Taiwan because we do not know what China's going to do. And to be clear, this administration is going to strengthen China. Let's be clear. And like I said before, TSMC has a policy that if they are invaded by China, they are going to burn it. They're going to burn everything to the ground. That is what they're going to do. So 90% of the cutting edge chips going to be gone. Like, I don't understand the risk assessment approach that's going on, probably because there isn't one.
They don't have a plan. They do not have
And
a
I
plan.
will say that the CHIPS Act, I didn't like it because Intel just got a ton of money. But that's similar to the situation that we have with Boeing. We can't just allow it to fail because it's so much more than Boeing commercial. Boeing has military applications. So we can't let them die because we don't want to be reliant on a foreign country for too much of our military supply chain. So I don't understand why we can't use that same logic when it comes to the CHIPS Act. Because I don't think people realize how expensive it is to build a modern fab. We're talking minimum $8 to $10 billion. That takes years. Then you also have to get the employees trained up to the point where they can actually have good enough yields so that it's economical to build back in the US.
The sad part about this, Cams, is the fact that this is not getting any traction. This isn't getting any coverage. This is, like I said, they get so enamored with all of the other fuck shit, and there are things like this happening under the cloak of darkness, and by the time people realize, it's going to be too late.
Absolutely. And mind you, people are like, well, we have, Texas Instruments. Texas Instruments does not do cutting edge chips. They don't. They don't do a chip that will go in a car. They don't do a chip that will go in a phone.
They'll make a nice calculator for you.
I mean, when you look at the companies that TSMC manufactures their chips, we're talking Apple, we're talking Nvidia, AMD, Qualcomm. These are all heavy hitters in the semiconductor space. And to be quite frank, the clout that Apple has,
and 1 second,
TSMC has a node.
Tams, I know we've been saying TSMC. TSMC is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. That's what TSMC stands for. I don't think they told us in the article, and I don't think we said it, but that's Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company.
You better put the limited behind it.
I'm sorry, limited. Excuse me.
Put some respect on their name. But I mean, they're so cutting edge right now that Intel could catch up with their new node, but we'd have to see it play out. But essentially, whenever TSMC comes out with a new node, people are bidding more money so that they can get on that process faster. Why are these nodes so important? They use less power and they're more efficient. The smaller and smaller you shrink a lot of these, chip sizes, you get power and efficiency improvements. And when you're running huge farms of this equipment, that matters over time. Because AI, to be quite frank, is a waste of energy right now. It is very expensive. That's why we're bringing back coal plants. We're, bringing nuclear power plants back online because the energy demand from AI is so intense, and that's not going to go down. So chips are going to be more important.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I told y'all we have a 5-alarm fire going on.
Jason, Samsung is great when it comes to making things like memory. Their actual processors, they are having issues right now courting clients because TSMC is just that much better. Intel was in a point where they had to go get their stuff made at TSMC. This science is very hard. It is very hard to get this stuff right.
Well,
and they got the secret sauce, and we need to get it.
And yet here we are.
It's so nice to see you again.
It is nice to see you.
Yeah, I was up here though. You just couldn't see me. I
had an issue. I had to go out and come back in. I couldn't see you. I'm sorry.
I want that to be clear because you was going on.
You were.
Okay.
My apology. I'm sorry, sir. I apologize.
I had to send you the photographic evidence because
you did.
You like to spike out on me.
Thank you for coming up, sir.
No problem. Let me drop back down.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is Cam's the Great. Thank you for that commentary. I felt that needed that. Since we're talking about the news getting distracted, here was a distraction that they put out this morning. In case you missed it.
Tunnels coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza #1.
I don't know what y'all want from me. Now, some ass clown. You're welcome, Cams. You're welcome. Some ass clown made that, put it on his social media, and your president loved it so much he reposted it on his Truth Social and on his X account. Please don't think that this isn't something. Now, this is all AI generated, but please don't think that this isn't something that that hasn't galvanized him and hasn't made him damn near nut in his clothes to the point where he's probably ready to do whatever he can in his power to enact it right now. Please understand. Mess. Now, for all of the ego that Donald John has had during his storied life, something's weird about this guy recently. And I say that because in former President Trump and the Trump that we've known over the years would not sit back idly by and allow people to slurp from the Elon Musk ball sack like they do. Because even if we look at that video, there were way more Elon Musk sightings than there was Trump in that. And normally his fragile ego does not like any parts of that. If you looked at the cabinet meeting today, which was his first cabinet meeting of the year, Elon Musk ran the cabinet meeting, was at the head of the table, standing up, giving out directives and orders and all of this. Trump sat on the far end, not even at the head of the far end, over on the corner, slouched over like, oh God, please don't chastise me and haze me. Like he didn't even look like he was in charge. And that's not the Trump that we know, which makes me wonder. Now, here's my conspiracy theory coming out. I wonder if something's going on with him that we just don't know about. And which is why he's acquiescing and coalescing to Elon. I don't even know where the fuck JD Vance is at this point. I have no clue where he is. Is he alive? Can somebody go over there and check? But something I don't now. I saw a conspiracy theory video the other day that said that the reason that Trump is letting Elon Musk do all of that is because not only did Elon Musk give those hundreds of $millions to Trump's campaign, but Elon Musk also guaranteed Trump the presidency through nefariously stealing votes or stifling votes from getting through. And you know that's that whole conspiracy theory about Elon Musk saying that Trump had won even before they knew Trump had won. And there's a lot of evidence of 4+ million votes that were not counted and things like that. So people are saying that this is some type of quid pro quo where Elon Musk pretty much guaranteed him the election and Donald John told him, well, you can go and do whatever you want. That's just a conspiracy theory. I don't know. Not somewhere sticking his meat in between couch cushions. Not they lovers. Ciao. In more news, now I know y'all might not be able to read that. I got a picture of this. See if this letter I could have y'all read this. Now that is Congressman Brian Mast, who is chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me read it for you. It says, this is from Congressman Brian Mast, chair of the Foreign Committee on Foreign Affairs. This is to members of committee staff. Okay, dear staff. In recognition of our unbreakable bond with Israel and the inherent right of the Jewish people to their ancient homeland, the House Foreign Affairs Committee will, from here forward, refer to the West Bank as Judea and Samaria in formal correspondence, communication, and documentation. Jewish roots in this region span centuries, and we must recognize that fact in both word and deed. Long before Hamas killed Americans and Israelis on October 7th, we saw vile acts meant to dehumanize Jewish people throughout the world and shatter Israelis' right to live in peace. As a committee and as representatives of the American people, we must do our part to stem this reprehensible tide of anti-Semitism and recognize Israel's rightful claim to the cradle of Jewish civilization. As long as I have the honor of serving as chairman of this great committee, I will ensure that America stands with our ally Israel. Sincerely, Chairman Brian J. Mast. Now, you do know that there's a whole nother country there, right, sir? I told y'all from the very beginning that Gaza, I should say, was not what Israel wanted. Why you think Netanyahu don't have a goddamn thing to say about Donald John Trump wanting to take the Gaza Strip? Netanyahu, that's a red herring. Gaza is not what they want. What they want is the West Bank. And this is more evidence of what I'm talking about. They want the West Bank. That is not that's not a secret. That's not something that's covert. Or they are very clear on that. They want the West Bank. They have been attacking the West Bank for decades now. They have ramped up their attacks on the West Bank since October 7th. Now you have the chair of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs telling his staff that they must reference the West Bank as Judea and Samaria. This is happening. Meanwhile, you think it wasn't bad enough when y'all stole these people's land some 80 years ago? It wasn't bad enough then. Now here we are. Here the fuck we are. Cam said he doesn't have a leg to stand on. Literally, they stole those people's lands, and it is what it is. The Balfour Declaration was a bunch of listen. I just said that it wasn't enough that they stole these people's land 80 years ago, and now here the fuck we are. Here the fuck. This is the buffoonery that we're dealing with in fucking Congress. This shit is fucking Yeehaw Junction over there. Just a basket of deplorables. It's already 6:25. God help me. God help me. I didn't know it was that late already. So I'm not even halfway through the dossier, y'all. Not even halfway through the goddamn dossier. Apple shareholders have rejected a proposal to scrap the company's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. The shareholders rebuffed an attempt to pressure the technology company into joining President Trump's push to scrub corporate programs designed to diversify its workforce. The proposal, drafted by the National Center for Public Policy Research, a self-described conservative think tank, urged Apple to follow a litany of high-profile companies that have retreated from diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives currently in the Trump administration's crosshairs. After a brief presentation about the anti-DEI proposal, Apple announced shareholders had rejected it. In a regulatory filing submitted Tuesday evening, Apple disclosed that 97% of the ballots cast were votes against the measure. The outcome vindicated Apple management's decision to stand behind its diversity commitment, even though Trump asked the U.S. Department of Justice to look into whether these types of programs have discriminated against some employees whose race or gender aren't aligned with the initiative's goal. But Apple CEO Tim Cook has maintained a cordial relationship with Trump since his first term in office, an alliance that so far has helped the company skirt tariffs on its iPhones made in China. After Tim Cook and Trump met last week, Apple on Monday announced that it would invest $500 billion in the U.S. and create 20,000 more jobs during the next 5 years, a commitment applauded by President Trump. Tuesday's shareholder vote came a month after the same group presented a similar proposal during Costco's annual meeting, only to have it overwhelmingly rejected too. We're glad to see it. I'm still not buying an Apple phone, but I'm glad to see it. Well, those of you in the greater New York area, this is y'all mayor. This is y'all mayor. This is y'all's mayor.
So this is a biblical moment. You know, when Jesus was on the cross, he said, God, forgive them, for they know not what they do. All these Negroes who are asking me to step down, God, forgive them. Are you stupid?
At this point, get rid of him and Kathy Hochul. Get rid of both of them hoes at this point. At this point, get rid of both of them hoes. Get rid of Eric Adams and get rid of weak-ass, feckless-ass Kathy Hochul, who was scared to get rid of him too. I mean, what do y'all want from me? What do y'all want from me? Sir, mark your day. Mark your days. Mark your day. Just start counting off. Sir, you're out of office at this point. You will be primaried. Let's be clear. You will be primaried. You will be primaried. Please be clear. Like, where do y'all find these people? Like, where did he come from? How did he get the endorsement? Nobody looked him up. Can we not have any more mayors of New York that work for the NYPD? I'm just saying, as a rule at this point. Can we just not have any more New York City mayors that work for the NYPD? I'm just saying. This shit is bereft, engorged, riddled, and mired with fuck shit and fuckery down to the NYPD. Let's be clear. In more sugar spiky news, well, members of the Rainbow Coalition compound, I told you this shit was going to keep happening. I told y'all this shit was going to happen. Here's the headline. North Dakota Republican Party advances resolution calling for end to nationwide marriage equality. North Dakota legislators are advancing a resolution calling on the United States Supreme Court to overturn Obergefell versus Hodges, the 2015 ruling that established marriage equality nationwide. The state's House of Representatives passed a resolution Monday, and it is now in the hands of the North Dakota Senate. It doesn't carry the force of law, and it would take a marriage equality case coming to the high court for it to revisit Obergefell. Although Kim Davis, the infamous anti-marriage equality Kentucky politician, and her lawyers are trying to set one up. This follows the passage of a similar resolution in Idaho and comes alongside a state representative's plan to introduce one in Michigan. The Michigan one will probably be passed by the state house, but not by the state senate, as the latter has a Democratic majority. House Concurrent Resolution 3013 passed by a vote of 52 to 40. Republican Bill Tveit, who introduced it, said same-sex couples shouldn't be able to marry because they can't reproduce, an argument that was long used against marriage equality, but has now been rejected by most Americans. Here we are. I told y'all this. Listen, I told y'all this was. They're going to keep chipping away at it. They're going to keep throwing it out there. Keep throwing it out there. I told y'all, well, by the time we get to the midterms, marriage equality will be gone. Please be clear. It damn sure will be gone before we get to 2028. Now, well, I know Big Gretch ain't gonna have it, but and it's not gonna make it out of the Democratic-led Senate of the of Michigan. However, I told y'all they keep trying it in these various areas. They're trying to get to the Fifth Circuit. In more news for the LGBTQ plus community, well, the Supreme Court has decided that they are not going to hear a lawsuit challenging Tennessee's drag ban, leaving in place an appeals court ruling upholding the law. The state's controversial Adult Entertainment Act, passed in 2023, prohibits adult cabaret entertainment on public property or in any location where minors could view it. The law defines such entertainment as performances that are, quote, adult oriented and harmful to minors, end of quote, including acts by topless dancers, go-go dancers, exotic dancers, strippers, and, quote, male or female impersonators, end of quote. So the Supreme Court has allowed the drag ban to stay in place in Tennessee, which means you will see sweeping laws across the South, doing the same thing. Please be ready. Texas, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, even Georgia. These people, y'all are asleep at the wheel. Wake the fuck up. This shit is happening. The Rainbow Coalition compound, they too busy frolicking and wrestling instead of being in the fight. This shit is happening. The Supreme Court said, oh, y'all, we're not going to even hear this. Let the lower court ruling stand. I'm just saying. In more sugar spiky news, so the black man you see here, his name is Mark Manley. He's a gun owner who teaches gun safety to black citizens. Now, he's wondering why federal agents raided his home early one morning last year, terrorizing his family with flash grenades, threatening to shoot his children, and allowing dogs to defecate throughout his home, only for them to come away saying, oh, there's nothing illegal here. Now, he runs a popular Second Amendment YouTube channel called Mark Choppa TV. He believes that ATF agents targeted him because not only is he a black man who legally owns more than 70 guns, he also inspires other black citizens to arm themselves legally. But the ATF told the family they had received a tip from an anonymous source that he was a felon in possession of guns who was also engaging in illegal gun sales. The ATF also claims they conducted an investigation before presenting the evidence to a judge who signed the warrant. Really. But once they raided and ransacked Mr. Manley's home after handcuffing him, his wife, and his 3 children, who are 14, 15, 17, the federal agents discovered nothing illegal. A mess. Y'all know what this is about. Now, this happened 3 months ago, and the ATF still has not publicly addressed the incident other than telling local media, quote, the warrant is under seal and the investigation is ongoing, end of quote. We know what this is. We know what this is about. Now, the details of the raid are quite chilling. I don't have enough time today to go into the details of this raid. But if you want to get into some of the details of it, there's the link right there. There's the link right there. And you can read more on exactly what they did to this man and his family is deplorable. I really would love to spend a little more time on it, but it's already 6:37. And y'all know I'm about to ask somebody to go over there, Xavier or Tracy, to go over there and see what time really be going live. I would love to spend a little more time on this, but we can't. Can we talk about, hold on. Can we talk about how cute he is? Ain't he a little cutie? Mm-hmm. Ain't he a cutie? I'm just saying. Can somebody go over there and check on him? Is he happily married? I'm just saying. Is he happily married? I'm just saying. Like, he looked like, I'm just saying. If we was talking about palate cleansers, Anyway, let me move on. In more news that is very sugar spikery, not even a word. Sugar spiky, not a word either. The Department of Homeland Security has quietly, under the cloak of darkness, eliminated a ban on surveillance based on sexual orientation and gender identity. The Department of Homeland Security eliminated policies preventing the investigation of individuals or groups solely based on their sexual orientation or gender identity. DHS Office of Intelligence and Analysis quietly updated its policy manual earlier this month, as first reported by Bloomberg, removing LGBTQ plus identities from the general requirements section that prohibits surveillance based solely on immutable characteristics. The manual now states OSIC personnel are prohibited from engaging in intelligence activities based solely on an individual's or group's race, ethnicity, sex, religion, country of birth, nationality, or disability. The use of these characteristics is permitted only in combination with other information and only where one intended and reasonably believed to support one or more of INA's national or departmental missions, and 2, narrowly focused in support of that mission or those missions, end of quote. The manual previously stated via the archives, quote, OSIC personnel are prohibited from engaging in in intelligence activity based on an individual's or group's race, ethnicity, gender, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, country of birth, nationality, or disability. And the parts that they removed was sexual orientation and gender identity. Now, y'all know what this means, right? The changes come shortly after Donald Trump signed executive orders forcing the removal of references to diversity, equity, and inclusion in government, as well as mandating that the federal government deny the existence of transgender people by recognizing only 2 sexes, male or female, despite the scientific and medical consensus that sex is a spectrum. Now, what that means is you can now have government surveillance on you simply because of your sexual orientation and gender identity. You should know that the new Secretary of Homeland Security is Kristi Noem of the great state of former governor of the great state of South Dakota, who has a history of targeting the LGBTQ plus community and striking down LGBTQ plus rights within the state of North Dakota. As we delve out of the sugar spike segment deeper, I'll do that, Cams. I'll definitely do that. As we delve deeper into the dossier, she going to jail, y'all. I don't care. Lock her ass up. Lock her ass up. She going to fucking jail. This whore done been running rampant all over Potomac, Potomac, I should say, the DMV, Maryland, Virginia. She done been running rampant. She done been driving recklessly. She's been endangering the lives of countless numbers of people. Lock her ass up. Throw away the goddamn key. We'll see you in a fucking year. Hopefully. Now, what she better, y'all know Ray is older than God. She better hope nothing happens to Ray while she's in jail. Because Ray is one, skipped heartbeat beat away from going up yonder. From having us sing, if anybody asks you where I'm going, where I'm going soon, and they're not gonna let your ass out of jail just so you can bury him. I'm just saying, lock her ass up. Lock her ass up. Because for all y'all people over here talking about let her out, let her out, let her out, y'all ain't gonna give a damn until this drunken ass bastard runs over one of your family members, takes the life of someone. Like, she's out of, she has no remorse, no appreciation for the fact that she has been given chance after chance after chance. Left to herself, that bitch would be out drunk driving right now. Lock her ass up, okay? Somebody better go over there and bubble wrap Ray until he get his ass until she get her ass out of jail, because Ray looked like he ready to go on to glory. How old is Ray? Because Ray looked to be about 96, but I just think he ain't age well. But Ray don't look good. Somebody tell me how old Ray is. She ain't show no remorse. No, she hasn't. No, she is not Xavier. Listen, the woman goes in court and says and does what she needs to say and do in order to get out of going to jail. And then the next night, like the judge says, before the ink on the court order is dry, this bitch back out driving drunk again. No, I don't believe no parts of her. She has no remorse. She don't give a damn. Now that is crazy, because the murderer, Brandy, that took that woman's life, you would think that she would have got more time. Spicy Original. Ray looked bad for 79. Oh, Ray, you look to be about a good 88. Ray looks 88. Xavier, go over there and see what time really be going live. Ray look like he 88 years old. Okay. Dear God. Listen, I have no sympathy for Karen. None at all. Lock her ass up. She got 2 years and they suspended 1 year, so she only gonna have to spend a year in jail. I don't know if they'll give her, let her out early, for good behavior or whatever. I don't know. They say she's gonna have several years of probation afterwards. Good, great. She was found guilty on 5 out of 6 of the charges. Lock her ass up. That's it. That's all. Like, after the first DUI, you would have thought she would have learned. Ma'am, she done had what they said she done had like 4 or 5. She done had like 4 or 5. Oh no, ma'am, you don't give a damn. You don't give a damn. You putting people's lives in order. Now, I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying that people, everybody done been there. Maybe you left a party and you was a little too, you was a little too drunk, but you managed to make it home without hurt, harm, or loss of anybody. This woman is running in the tree. She could have ended her own life, much less the life of somebody else. Y'all see this car? She could have ended her own life, much less the life of someone else. No, I have no understanding for her. Lock her ass up. This like 4 or 5. Yeah, they say she can't drive for a year. They gonna put the little thing on her car where they have to breathe in. But y'all know people get past that anyway. People, all they do is have somebody else breathe in the thing and they keep it moving. We already know how that goes, honey. Child. Just a mess. Hey, Brittany Janae, where you been? You sure late to class today. Listen, I have no understanding for her. Because if that had been one of our asses, we would have been gone to jail after the second one. We would have been in jail after the second one. Would have been in jail after the third one. What you drinking over there, so Jeff? Listen, did anybody go check what time really be going live? Child, I don't have no sympathy for her. Hey, reality with Krista. Krista Marie. Y'all welcome reality with Krista Marie. Hey, girl, hey. Listen, I would have gave her the whole 2 years. Okay. Thank you, Xavier. Listen, I don't have no understanding for her. None at all. None. Thank you, Ravine. Like Karen, you morphed into a whole ass Karen. Karen exemplified her name. She got over there with that police officer and was a whole ass Karen. She was talking about, do you know who I am? No, I do not. That's it. No, I do not. Once you have to ask somebody, do you know who I am? Baby, this is not going to end well for you. When you have to say to someone, do you know who I am? You've already lost. Either they don't know who you are or they don't give a damn who you are. Just a mess. Just a damn mess. Karen, you need to get your life in order. And the fact, didn't they say she checked into the rehab and then checked out early or something? Didn't she check out early or something like that? She wasn't serious. She's not serious. She's not serious, y'all. She's not serious. She did tell that man, you are poor and white. Do I know who you are, Harold? Harold. Hey. Listen, she would have had the right one. She would have had the right one if I was the police officer. She told me, "Do you know who I am?" And I do know who she is. I can't stand her, baby. The way I would have gave her the riot act. Child. Anyway, Karen. I know Sharice is over there having a field day, bitch. Shout out to Sharice. Y'all know Tracy C can't stand Sharice. Tracy C cannot stand Sharice. She called Sharice, what she called Sharice? Timbe in the wig. She can't stand Sharice. Child, Sharice is at home having a fucking field day. Shout out to Sharice. Big back Sharice. Anyway, go with God. Go. I can't even tell you to go with God. Go do your time, Karen. We'll see you in a year. Girl, bye. You know, we don't see it for Karen. Listen, y'all motherfuckers with these social media pranks and these YouTube pranks and these TikTok pranks, y'all gonna get enough of this shit. Y'all gonna get y'all ass fucked up. So this little girl right here, she's a content creator from New Hampshire. Now, she is facing some very serious charges after allegedly contaminating food at a local grocery store with her urine. I don't know what y'all want from me. She filmed the act for social media. Her name is Kelly Tedford. Now, this happened in Keene, New Hampshire. She's 23. Now, last Friday, after an anonymous tip led the police to investigate disturbing videos she had posted online, authorities say one of the clips showed her contaminating food products at the Monadnock Food Co-op, and she has been charged with felony criminal mischief. Following police notification, the Monadnock Food Co-op swiftly removed affected products from shelves, sanitized all surfaces, and contacted customers who may have purchased contaminated items. The store issued a statement confirming the incident and stated that no fresh produce, meat, seafood, prepared food, or refrigerated products were affected. However, they have issued a voluntary recall on certain dry goods purchased between February 10th and February 15th, including raw walnuts, organic red quinoa, and organic oatmeal. According to Keene Police, Tedford may have engaged in similar acts in the past. Investigators are reviewing additional videos, some dating back to 2021, that suggests she may have contaminated items at other locations in Keene, New Hampshire, and nearby communities. The The grocery store reported over $1,500 in losses due to the discarded products and sanitation costs. She's been released on her personal recognizance bail and is scheduled to appear in court on April 7th. Why the fuck is she out of jail? Y'all talk about Karen getting locked up. Leave this whore locked up. Why is she out of jail? For all we know, this nasty whore is going to go and do this shit again. I don't know where the fuck y'all find these people. Remember they had the other little boy that was around there licking the groceries down to the Walmart a couple years ago. You had the people that was licking the ice cream and shit. Y'all gonna get y'all ass fucked up. I'm telling y'all gonna get y'all ass fucked up fucking with people food. Why is this whore not still in jail? How is she out of jail? She is little baby. Like, that's the best word to describe her, little baby. That is the best word to describe her. I'm just saying. Like, girl, get your life in order. Cause I'm telling you, you better be glad you was in Keene, New Hampshire. Go to the wrong black neighborhood and try that shit and let a bitch catch you doing that shit. See if you don't get your ass fucked up. I'm just telling you what I know. I'm just telling you what I know. In our last not sugar spiking story, but our last story of the day before we get out of here, Young Thug has announced his first show since he got released from jail. He's making his return to the stage in Belgium on July 5th. It'll be his first performance since his arrest back in 2022 and after spending time in jail. He's set to headline the Les Ardentes Festival over in Belgium. Anybody looking forward to it? I mean, I don't know. I can't name you not one song from this young man. But y'all know, white people be liking these garbage ass rappers. Something about white people and their mediocrity. They love mediocre garbage ass rappers that nobody gives a damn about. Y'all ever notice that white people have a real affinity for mediocre garbage ass rappers that nobody gives a damn about? I can't name you not one song by him. I know more about him being in jail and his trial than I do about his goddamn music. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Reality, I unfortunately, I'm not dropping the link. I'm about to get off, so I don't really have time to drop the link today. I'm about to get up off because I got something to do at 7:00, so I got to get up off of here. Listen, not fuck the hook and his friend Breonna Drake. Y'all know BBL Drizzy, Wheelchair Jimmy. We don't like him. Even Harold said he only know one Young Thug song. I don't know not one song by him. Listen, we don't have time for whatever you got going on, sir. Go do your little music. Be glad you got out of jail and and go about your business. No problem. Reality. Sorry about that. I got to get up off because I got to do something in 2 minutes, like a minute and a half. Anyway, listen, y'all. We done been on here over 2 hours. We've been on here 2 hours. 2 hours. Okay. Now, Cam's asked me to put the story down to the members only chat. So I'll do that in I'll put the links to all of the stories, even the Black History moments, in the YouTube section of the members only chat. So look for all of those links in the YouTube section of the members only chat. I'll do that today before I forget. And we're gonna get up out of here. I'll be back on Monday, y'all. I got a trip this weekend. I gotta go flying out early in the morning, and I'll see y'all back here on Monday. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. We about to get up out of here. Members, we finna go down to the members only chat and do what we do. Shout out to the members. I wanted to link y'all over to Really Be, but unfortunately her other channel does not have the ability for me to redirect y'all over there. So I'm just gonna tell y'all, go over there to Really Be. Y'all know where to find her on her Really Be Reviews channel. And I'll see y'all back here on Monday. That's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out. Love y'all. I'll see y'all Monday.